In this video, I'll present a proof that abortion is murder. More specifically, I'll prove that a fetus has the same moral worth as a born human. It will depend only upon a few premises upon which most reasonable people will agree. It's generally agreed upon that human lives have inherent moral worth. This is why we don't allow murder, after all. This moral worth obviously comes from our human existence. One could argue about exactly which aspect, whether our moral worth comes from our capacity for reason, our complex emotions, or something else, but what's important for our purposes is just that moral worth comes from some aspect of human existence. This should be a non-controversial statement upon which most people will agree. Given this, our moral worth must come either from our past human existence, present human existence, or future human existence, which is to say, we have moral worth either because of who we were, who we are, or who we will be. These, of course, are the three possibilities. The question is which of those three gives us our human moral worth? To answer this, let's consider a hypothetical. There's a skydiver named Bob. When Bob jumped from a plane, his parachute malfunctioned, and he hit the ground at terminal velocity, falling into a deep coma. In this coma, he's a complete vegetable. He cannot think, feel, or sense, and the doctors know with 100% certainty that he will never awake or recover in any way. In this case, would it be wrong to take him off life support? Remember, he has no chance of ever being anything but a vegetable in every way, and assume that he doesn't have any family who would be responsible for making this decision. Pause the video a minute to consider it if you want, but I don't think it's a very tough question. Most people would say that it's morally acceptable to take Bob off life support. After all, with no hope for recovery, it's a stretch to say you're keeping him alive in anything beyond the most technical sense of that word. Remember that it's okay to take Bob off life support in this case, because it'll be relevant later. Now, let's consider another hypothetical. Like Bob, John is also an unlucky skydiver. He gets tangled in his parachute and also falls into a deep coma when he hits the ground. John's situation, however, is different. Like Bob, he can't think, feel, or sense. But unlike Bob, John will wake from his coma in about a year. When he does, he'll return to normal. In this case, is it wrong to take John off life support? The answer most will have to this question will be a resounding yes. Given that John will wake up, it's obvious to most that he shouldn't be removed from life support. Now that we have some useful information from these two hypotheticals, we'll return to the original question. Does human moral worth come from past, present, or future human existence? Let's consider Bob's case. We agree that it's acceptable to take Bob off of life support, which means that he does not have human moral worth. What about human existence? Bob used to be a functioning person, but he isn't currently, nor will he ever be. So Bob has only past human existence, but not human moral worth. So human moral worth must not come from past human existence. What about John? John is currently in a coma, but he used to be a functioning person, and, assuming he isn't taken off life support, he will also be a functioning person in the future. John has past and future human existence, and he has moral worth. So human moral worth must come from either past human existence or future human existence. But remember, Bob's case already showed that past human existence doesn't confer human moral worth. So, human moral worth must come from future human existence. How does this apply to abortion? Simple. Since human moral worth comes from future human existence, the value of a fetus is determined by the life it has before it, not by its current state as a fetus. Whether a handful of cells or viable and almost a baby, the fetus's moral worth is conferred by its future, by the human life before it, and it therefore has the same moral value as you or I. And that is why abortion is murder. If you found this interesting and enjoyed my style of applying philosophical analysis to important issues, I encourage you to subscribe to my channel. Along with this video, I'll also publish an addenda video with several other points about this issue, including some other points needed to make the argument completely watertight. If you're interested in hearing some of the finer points of this argument, I encourage you to watch it. If you have an objection to my argument, there's a good chance I cover it in that video. Metaphysicist out.